Hey everyone, Prep and Mama here. I have decided to rebrand my channel. I'm changing the name to Real Life Prepping. There's a couple reasons for that I will get into in a little bit. But for now, let's go do some chores. I have some old grapes and cilantro here to give to my chickens. What's going on, you guys? Good morning. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. You have food. Oh, yep, you have food. We need to give you some more water. These are our pet rabbits. I've been looking into adding meat rabbits, but for now we have pet rabbits who are fertilizer makers. It's time for me to empty that into some of my raised beds. Okay, we're in my garage. This is where my seed starting operation is. This is also where we keep some freezers, and there is a small kitchen in here where I make, I'm learning how to make cold processed soap. I make skincare balms and hard lotion bars as well, and sometimes I make lip balm. I make that from herbs that I grow. So any of the herbal balms or hard lotion bars or anything that is herbal is coming from herbs that I grow here on our homestead. Herbalism is something very interesting to me and I like to study, but I am not like a qualified necessarily individual to make any kind of, give any advice on that. It's just something I'm very interested in, and I like to use herbs to grow in tree guilds under my fruit trees, and when I have my apple tree guild looking a little bit better, I need to do some garden cleanup. I'll show you what I mean by that. Hold on just a minute. I need to turn off the fan. I have the fan in here to help strengthen some plants that got a little leggy, but it's blowing my hair around. So hold on just a second while I shut it off. Okay, that's better. What was I saying? So what goes on in here is we've got some food storage in here because we have freezers in here. Right now I have a big piece of furniture in my way. I have a metal table in the middle of this room, and then I have another metal table behind me where I pot and plant seeds. And then I have this set up for my grow lights. And when these plants get too big for in here, they'll go into a hoop house cold frame, which we have not built yet, but we have. I've had it since last year. I'm just waiting. My husband's doing some other stuff. He's making a new chicken tractor for our meat birds. The one we had last time wasn't big enough for the amount we're doing this year, but also it kind of didn't work for us, but we learned a lot from the experiment. And this time we're using an old carport frame and bird netting and tarps. So I'll be showing you that, but right now he's working on that, and when he's done with that, then he'll help me put up my hoop house, hopefully in time for these guys to move into. What I've started here, well, I'll go over that in a sec. Anyway, what I was going to tell you is I am changing my channel name to Real Life Prepping because, well, for several reasons, but really because that's what I'm doing. Everything I do is real life. My house will never look like a magazine cover. My preps will never be 100% organized. I have way too many interests and I'm sometimes all over the place. And I'm dealing with a lot of different things like special needs and health issues in our family. So the preparedness that I practice is very real life, and I want it to be a little bit more approachable in that way. So if you are just now getting into preparedness, or if you're preparing with extra things to consider like health problems or medications or special needs or any of that stuff, I'm your gal. So I was going to go ahead and show you what I have started back here for our garden this year. I haven't started everything, it's a little too early. So we are gardening in zone 8B. And our last frost day I think is towards the end of April, but I don't pay attention to that. I plant on Mother's Day weekend every year. That's what I do because I know it's safe. This year Mother's Day is May 8th, so that is the day or the weekend that I will be planting my garden out. So what I've started so far, sorry for the shaking, guys. What I've started so far is a lot of cabbage. Let's show you. Okay, so I have heading cabbage, and then I have Chinese cabbage. The Chinese cabbage I use to make kimchi, and the heading cabbage I use to make sauerkraut. And then of course we eat, we eat it in stir fries and different things. So I've got a lot of heading cabbage. I have Brussels sprouts. More Chinese cabbage. This is kale. Lots of kale, cabbage, and chard here. I have peppers started, but they still have not germinated. More Chinese cabbage and more heading cabbage there. And then this is all tomatoes. And this is artichoke and chard. And then I've got cauliflower, which is not germinating well at all. The Chinese cabbage is doing awesome. It's germinating well. And Nero kale, which is probably my favorite kale. And then just yesterday, I started some more cold hardy romaine, butter crunch, and a Yukon winter mix lettuce that I haven't tried before. So those are what I've started so far. It's too early to start squash. I will start squash in another 2 weeks. Today is March 22nd. So at the beginning of April, I'll go ahead and start all of my squash seeds. And I think that's all I'm going to start inside. Everything else I will start outside. I did buy some pea plants, so I'm not starting peas. I'm actually putting plants in the ground, and I'm going to seed directly some golden beets and some rutabaga. So that's my plan. I get my seeds from a couple different places. I really like Territorial Seed because they're in Oregon and I'm in Oregon. I also buy some things from Baker Creek and some things from Haas Tools. And then sometimes I just pick some things up at Home Depot or at my local Grange Co-op, which is like our feed store here. So it just depends on what I'm looking for and what I can find and what I need. My seed starting station is right here, and basically I just get seed starter and I mix it with water. I'll show you. This is what I'm using this year to start my seeds in. It's from Fox Farms. It's the Light Warrior. It has extra stuff in it that I don't remember how to pronounce. And then I have worm castings to add to it. And then I basically put the seed starter in this bin, and I add water with my trusty water pitcher, and I mix it around until it's wet enough, and then I load it into my seed modules, and I put these in a tray. A bootstrap tray is best. These are a little cheaper. I have other ones that are actual from Bootstrap Farmer, which are a better quality. This is not so good of a quality. And then, so about 72 modules fit into these 10 by 20 trays. So there's 72 plants in each of these, or more if each module has, some of these have more than one seed has germinated. We put 2 to 3 seeds per module just in case, right? And of course my 7-year-old is also helping me with this. So sometimes we end up with interesting things happening sometimes. So anyway, I load my modules with the dirt after they're in a tray. And then I put a little bit of worm castings. I sprinkle worm castings, and then I put the seeds, and then I sprinkle a little bit more seed starter mix on top, and I water them in. And while they're germinating, I keep watering from above, but I also, after they've germinated, I will load the bottom of the Bootstrap Farmer tray or the 10 by 20 tray with water, and at that point it will just soak up the water from below, and that seems to have worked well for me. So at this point I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trays. Well, 5 of them have 72 modules in them. This one, the first one I did, actually just has 4 by 4 inch pots right now. That holds 18 of those. So I don't like to have to pot up if I don't need to, but this time I had a little snafu when I was sterilizing. My sink pipe broke and it flooded this whole garage. Well, not this whole garage, but part of it. Anyway, I ended up using these instead for a lot of things, but these small modules can work for things that I'm just going to put out as baby plants and it's not a big deal. But for like tomatoes that I can't put out anytime soon, I'll have to up pot these. And I may have to up pot them twice, but I'm going to try not to. So definitely when I up pot them, I will split the little plants apart and put them in their own containers. But this was the first set that I did, and I did them in the larger pots. And these are peppers right here. All the reds, peppers, or tomatoes. And then the back there is all Chinese cabbage or heading cabbage there. Okay, so there's a piece of furniture in the way, but I'm going to try to back up and show you my whole seed starting station. So I've got my pots and my trays, some fish and guano fertilizer there. I have pots of all different sizes. And then up here's where I keep, this is my work area. And then we have some extra furniture in here that needs to go bye-bye or something. It's just been stored in here, but right now all of my seeds are very disorganized, but they're here. I know what's happening. They look disorganized, but I know what's going on, right? It's just like my desk. I keep seeds in here. I started out keeping my seeds in a binder, but I quickly outgrew that. But I have no intention of caving to peer pressure and getting the little seed boxes and all the things, because I don't need to spend money on that. I can add to this binder, have another binder. These couple dollar bins that I found, I have them everywhere. I love them. I use them for all kinds of things. These work great. I have all my seed catalogs in here. Everything's together. As I plant, I put things in bags so I know what I have planted already. So that seems to work for me. This is my seed starting operation. Also, I failed to mention that I will be selling some of these starts. I won't be using them all for us. I have a heater that I keep going on in here. I use a heat mat under my peppers, and I have a fan. The fan helps the plants be stronger, and it makes them a little bit, it's just an easier transition when I go to harden them off outside. They're already used to a little bit of agitation, right? So that's what the fan's for. So the fan moves around and gets them, not a lot, but some more natural breezy wind going on here. When this is not being used for seed starting, it's being used to give the rabbits enough airflow in the summer. So this thing we've gotten our use out of this, and I don't remember how long ago we bought it, but we pressure washed it last year, and it pressure washed just fine. It's been a great fan for us, so we just use it for multiple things, which is nice. So let me tell you what else we're using this room for. So in addition to seed starting, freezers, balm, hard lotion bar, and soap making, this is also where we will be starting our baby chicks. And when I have that set up, I will show you exactly what we do when we bring home baby chicks. Now, when we do chicks, I order from McMurray Hatchery, and I've never had a problem getting chicks through the mail from them. This next week, we are receiving 60 meat birds and 15 new laying hens, or new, baby chicks that will be layers. So basically what I've been doing this year, in consideration of the changing world and what's going on, I have elected to cull my current flock and only keep birds that are good for dual purpose. So in other words, that would be worth butchering at some point and eating. So basically when you have laying hens, they don't lay forever and they kind of slow down after a few years. Sorry, I'm just gonna try to adjust here. They slow down their laying, right? And at some point you have to decide, how am I gonna handle that, right? Am I going to butcher and eat these chickens? Am I going to give them away? What am I gonna do? So this year, what I decided to do was cull the birds that are too small to butcher. And they also happen to be the birds that didn't do as well in the winter and tended to get egg bound for some reason. Now I've had chickens several times. I've never dealt with egg binding before until I had cream leg bars. I like cream leg bars. They're nice little birds. They're pretty. They lay a beautiful blue egg. And when I started this latest chicken journey, my concern was, oh, I want pretty eggs. I want to sell eggs. I want to have a pretty egg basket. Well, that is not my priority now. My priority is to have dual purpose chickens in my coop. So I kept my Orpingtons. I have about 12 white Orpingtons left. That's what I've got. I'm adding 15 new layers this year. Some will be Orpingtons, some will be Bienfelders, and some will be Whiting True Greens. So I am still going to have a mixed basket of some colored eggs, but that wasn't my priority. My priority was to have chickens that were, my priority is always to have chickens that are good around children, friendly, nice to have, can handle cold weather, and that are good layers, right? But I decided to prioritize also dual purpose. So all of these chickens I'm getting are, something that we could eat later on down the line if we needed to. Just because, you have to replace your flock, things happen, right? So in addition to that, we're getting a 60 meat birds. We are doing meat birds twice this year. We're doing a spring and we're doing a fall batches. And we are actually doing enough that we can sell some this year too, which is nice. So that's what we're doing. I will have my chick set up here in the kitchen of the garage and I will show it all to you, and I'll probably try to show you when we get them too, because it's just a lot of fun to get the chicks and get them settled and everything. So they will be in here for 3 weeks until they're feathered out, and then they will go out to the pasture in a chicken tractor, which will keep them safe and keep them from going where they're not supposed to and keep predators out. And we'll show you that setup too. So I feel like I have rambled a lot today, but I just wanted to say, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna try to be more consistent about filming. I am rebranding. I have started a community group on my Facebook page. So if you check out my Facebook page, Real Life Prepping, there is a community group there where you guys can get together and talk. We can talk together. But basically, I'm just trying to show you what I'm doing, just to inspire you and give you information or inspiration or ideas. And just, it has taken us a long time to get to where we are, and we're not where we want to be when it comes to homesteading or anything like that. So I don't want you to look at our stuff and say, there's no way I could do that ever. I'm not in that position. Well, that's okay, because wherever you are is where you're supposed to be, and you just need to work with that. So we've just happened to be able to have some extra space now, just spread out and do a little bit more projects and be a little bit more in charge of our own food source. And I just like to share that with you, but also share with you just the little stuff that I'm doing. I'm preparing for a disabled child who is turning 11 this year, and I'm preparing for other things too that are, like high blood pressure and different things. So I also really enjoy making herbal tinctures. So anything to do with herbs, I'll show you what I'm doing. But again, I am not an herbalist and I'm not a professional. I just love to grow herbs and find every way that I can possibly use them. So that's really exciting. I've been doing some other things, but this year my goals are cold process soap making. I need to, get it down to a science and pressure canning, because I still have never pressure canned. I've only ever water bathed jams and pickles, and I freeze everything else, and I want to pressure can. I have a pressure canner, and I'm going to learn to use it this year. This is the year, and I am taking Homesteading Family's course on that, which if you're not familiar with them, you should go over there and check out their channel because it's very educational. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, guys, and getting caught up with me. And I'm sure there's other things going on I forgot to tell you about, but I'm just happy to be back filming, and I can't wait to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon.